not a big fan of social media, but necessary beast.
Do you think spam likes are helping or hurting it? That's what I'm. Do you think
Um,
that throws a flag in the algorithm that it's not real, like
well,
genuine engagement? That's just a thought that I've had. I don't know.
I was thinking that, but then if that's the theory, if I don't like you and I want to go on your live, I'm going to use that program to spam likes on you.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
true
mean? So
too.
it's
Like,
like, I don't, who knows, man? Everybody has got their theories of the TikTok algorithm. And now, maybe if it's from somebody like in the same house or IP, or maybe they have a way to track it. I don't know. Their algorithm's pretty sick, but something didn't like it. That's for sure. But this all started. I think what it is TikTok loves to put you in jail, right? Shadow ban jail, and this all started because I put like let me show you guys before I started. I had a image right here. See, I muted it of Neo, right? But I had him up here next to my head, and everything was going great. And then all of a sudden, I got this pop up. We get little warnings, and it's like, warning, you know, cameras are required for whatever, and using still images in place of your like your feed has been identified as using a still image instead of a camera or something like that. And that's remember I was like, I'm here, like I'm here, guys. What? And so I think that just threw me in, I'll go jail. So I don't know. So I took it off, and I'm just trying to see if I think with the algo jail, there's a timeline to it. I don't think it's forever, so I just got to keep pushing through. And the other thing too is I don't use. Remember, I'm not social media guy. I actually would rather not do it if I could, but it's how you get people to know. And I get a lot of pop-ups that are like, engage with your community and play games and encourage them to follow, encourage them to tap the screen, encourage like. So then I start thinking like maybe the algo's listening to that, right? Like I'm not I'm in here more like, hey, if you want to trade, come into the room, you know. I'm not like follow me, tap the screen, thanks for the rose, you know. So I don't know that they could see that and be like, this guy's not really doing it for the
Nick,
platforms.
you gotta say thank you for the roses,
Yes,
right?
well, send me a rose. Nobody sends you. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, yeah, I remember. Remember when like the buzz was going around about the the feed where people were doing the whole like they're an NPC and they're just like doing like crazy shit, and then they're like, thank you for this, and then they give them something else and they're like, and then they'd be like, oh, a pineapple, and I'm like, and they got like 10,000 people watching them, just giving them gifts up the wazoo, and I'm like, are these dudes really getting this? Like what? Like, there's so many weird ways to make money in this world, guys. So many weird ways.
I don't know what's worse, being the person doing it or the one paying for someone to do it.
well, they were just standing randomly in the streets and like being an NPC,
Yeah,
just
some weren't
repeating
even
the
in.
same phrase over and over with like these robotic movements.
Well, no, I'm talking about like uh, there's people that would literally just stand there and then just be like moving like they're an NPC, and then they would give them a gift, and then they'd be like, oh, caught the sword, thank you, or whatever, and then they'd be like, oh, gave your rose, like, oh, thank you for the rose. Like they would just do the same movement depending what gift
Yeah.
they got, and I'm like watching it like I don't think I could do this. Like, and they got so many people watching, and I'm like, get
Yeah.
out of here. I'm like, how? And that's what's so stupid about it is like, you give good advice or good content or have great content, and you get like little traffic or little into the algo, right? But I feel like TikTok likes more entertainment stuff, not this kind of stuff like educational
Or
stuff.
just like selling stuff. They love that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Nick, I gotta say, I'm still laughing over that name you just said.
Which one?
Cockasword.
Oh yeah. I didn't. Not that's not intended on how that came out, but I don't even think I said that. I'm gonna check the recording, but
He said caught.
oh, caught the sword, but hey, it's early out there. He's West Coast. Get your mind out of the gutter, Scott. I was like, I don't think I said that.
Sorry, when I heard what I thought I heard, which wasn't what you said, obviously.
It's caught the sword.
But
Man,
Hey,
no
anything to get a
abandoned.
laugh.
He's wielding his cockasword.
I just started laughing.
I'm
laughing.
putting that in
A
Neo's.
great way to start my morning.
Yeah, Neo's next analogy, guys, coming in hot. Oh, you crack me up. Oh man, guys. Oh, I am not gonna lie. Few things. One, I'm tired. Last night was my last night on my league ball, and so I was out playing till about 11 o'clock, 11:30. To got home around 12. The time isn't that big of a worry. It's more the fact that I was out running bases and chasing balls at midnight. So I'm tired today, but we'll get through. Another thing I don't really like this range. You guys know I hate trading in all-time high areas. It's just not my cup of tea. This is our wider look. Our 1 hour. Remember, we had the first GAN fan this way. We kind of broke it, ignored it. I never put it back because it didn't get respected. Now we're into the second leg. Right, now this one is going to be interesting because it's a lot more, there's a lot more room, right, to pull back. So I'm going to extend that out. So when we come back at some point, because we will, do I think it's today? I don't know. Do I think it's sometime this week? Probably, unless some news really pushes it, right? You guys know the structure we've been following for some time, and that played out perfect. Now we're in a spot because I'm starting to think like, because remember, we have to change the thoughts of high time frame, right? So we know we followed the structure a few times on the 15-second and the 1 minute, and remember both times it like broke it, and then it kind of like came back and they even lost it, and I was like, that's not usually the blow off top that we get. I don't know. And then it came back a little bit and retested like, prior highs like these areas, and then it came up and then it blew off top. Remember that? I was like, okay, there it is. That's what it is. So now I'm trying to think, if I was the market maker kind of thought, right? The bulls are crazy bullish here. They're all long, right? Wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of sweep it a bit, even breach this level, get into here, because then the bears are like eating that up, right? Like, okay, we're in. They're going full board short, and then you pop it north. Now you kind of did the long squeeze, wrecked all them, came in here, trapped a bunch of shorts, and now you're wrecking all them because they're gonna be like, why are we jumping again, right? Because most people are gonna try to take longer plays, right? So there's definitely a chance that we can pull back to retest. I think a push for a stronger high should at least come back to there, like the 399. So I would almost prefer it. I will tell you guys in the pre-market, in the mentor group, I, for the first time in quite a while, at least I think, I told them that I do not like longs and I would prefer shorts because I think ultimately we want to go up, so I think pre-market wants to go down. And so did pretty well on the shorts with that. So my funded, I got the other half of my 1500, so I got to convert that one real quick actually, and then I'm almost to that one. I didn't do any money on the one that I already took money out of, the payable one. I'm gonna wait on that one for a minute. But which actually, let me go into my funded and convert that real quick because I might work on that. So we got 3 minutes for open, guys. Which one is it? This one? Hey, there you go. Congratulations, you passed. Go team. Dude, I love that my funded has that option to force it, and then look, you literally pass it, and then you refresh this, and it instant converts. It's crazy. Love how they do that. Okay, we got Neo on, guys. We didn't do the push on the update yet for him. We talked about it a little more yesterday. Got some more things to work out. I got to meet with Alex today, and Paul. Mondays are a little bit busy for me, so it was tougher to push. But so he's kind of doing his normal stuff here. But look how deep he's getting here. I did talk to. Look at something in 1 minute. So he's starting to identify his own 1 hour support levels. So as many of you know, I had to force feed him a bunch of them to get him to know what they even are. But earlier he made a call and he goes, based on the 1 hour level of whatever, and I'm like, what? And I looked, and that's not one we gave him. So he figured that one out on his own, which is funny because it worked out. We actually came down, right? So pretty cool. I'm going to take that out. Let me see here. Whoa, too far. I think this is fine. I'm going to keep that one there just as a prior high measurement for when we get into open. Yeah. So this is our 1 minute. So we've broken the 1 hour. We are head and shoulders, which we kind of called this earlier. Also the pre-market, which is why we shorted it. It's coming into some critical lows, guys. This is where we could end up a larger head and shoulders, right, and see some kind of swing in here. Or we could just dump, right, because we are 1 hour break of our line, right? So let me adjust that to that other low, just to get a little more accuracy on that. There you go. Yeah, so like I said, guys, I'm more short than long today, but I think that we still have a lot of potential to blow off top north. So be really careful. I probably will look for more short opportunities unless we blow through all this and then pull back and retest. Then I'm more long. But right now, I don't want to really take any longs yet because we're below a lot of levels that could drop us pretty good. And I think we have a lot of room to go down. Yeah, we have a lot of room to go down. So let me... So let's watch how our open goes. Kind of hitting that $50 mark. So far we're swing high, swing low. The swing high did not breach, even get close to where it should have breached, so that's not strength. Right? Swing low is pressuring pretty hard. So 50 is going to be our watch. 22 or so is going to be our target if we break through that 50 level. So now we know market open lows to swing high, swing low. So we have a swing high, swing low. I want to see in here, as this is pulling, any kind of reclaim of that would be like yesterday, right? Very oscillatory. If we don't reclaim that, it's just gonna keep pulling. So 722 is kind of an area I see us getting to, right? Because that's our POC over here. So let's see if we find any kind of support in here. Again, the market's definitely due for some kind of pullback, but I don't know that it's going to be as drastic in one shot as everybody's hoping it to be. So I'm doing a new strategy where I'm taking just kind of, you know, little $5 movements, just capturing momentum. So I'll let you guys know how it goes, but so far so good. I've liked it. So it's starting to get a little push north, so careful on the shorts. We're coming into an area that could, right, a little bit further as far as room goes. We do have a doji, so close above would give us our push. A halfway push here would be good. It's no coincidence we're bouncing on 50 because that was our prior low back here, right there where it started. So we breached that. It's going down good. If we bounce there, right, then and it's going to push up hard. So we got the 15-minute 200 EMA down at 11. We know that that's sort of near our POC as well as our macro trend line that we had on there as well. So see that 50 trying to hold into an absorption on that. So now we have a high-low candle though, so careful. Getting some pressure north, but it's being absorbed as well. Pretty good. Again, target would be here, I think, before we really bounce, or or really break. But we also have, that's also a trap area here too. So be careful shorting too deep into that because that's a trap area that can bounce pretty well. On my eval, I'm not opposed to taking a little bit of risk because I'm only aiming for $5 to $6 movements. So I'm just looking for DOM jumps and stuff that I was teaching my mentor group to do. So I'm going to be a little aggressive on them.
Are you doing that with an ATM?
Mm-hmm. Yep, 24 ticks. Take profit only. I'm not looking for big wins, just in out. So we're trying to plateau. See how we're getting like this somewhat of compression, if you will. Just watching this, guys, because again we're very bearish, but we're starting to bounce off of a line that is critical. If we reclaim this 50, right, we're gonna get a pretty good push back north. So I caught some on this one eval that I'm trying to finish up, and again it's an eval, so I don't mind being aggressive. I caught a couple down here, and then I caught two that were here, right, just being aggressive off the hammers. I'm not calling them out to you guys because again it's not a safe trade. I'm only doing it because of the fact it's an eval. So I hit my last one, and so I got a little more than I need, so I don't know if I have to lose money. I'll have to see what they say, but got that one. That was wooden Q trades. Again, like I said, I was taking some extra risk. I don't think we're going up. I think if anything we're more down until we hit here, right, which we just did, the 22 area. This is the POC. If we bounce here, it could be pretty good, but we lost all of our critical levels, right, on this push. Now, don't lose focus on the fact that we are still uptrend on the 5 minute, and we're coming into a trend. So now, if you see, or we see, this break into this level, then I'd be really concerned because we're going to drop really far, right? There was something we identified, yeah, down here. Like we could come all the way to here, right, guys, over time, which is like $1,000 drop, and still jump up at some point. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think, again, everybody's really bearish. So I think we're still going to have another day or two of like, let's set up the bear trap, right, and then jump us. But I think my gut tells me that today was going to be a little tricky, but then in all fairness, uh, what we were looking at, hey, there's the other one. What we were looking at is in the pre-market, it did what it was supposed to do on all of them, like every break. The northern did what it should do. The southern did what it should do. So my first instinct, my first thought was, it's going to be a bad day or a tricky day, at least, right?
Yesterday had some nasty sweeps, though, dude.
Yeah. So my strategy, guys, I kind of been deeply teaching the mentor group, and I'm kind of teaching a little on the development, but I have pivoted a little back to microscalping. I'm not looking for big runs, right? I'm taking the logic that I'm showing you all, and I'm saying, okay, I got hammers, got this, got that. Okay, the dom's jumping. And then all I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, this thing goes tick, tick, jump, and then I look and go, ooh, we have hammers near support. Okay, I'm going to take, on the next tick, tick, right? So tick, I kind of watch the tick, tick. Sometimes I'll put a limit, not always. And then I'll kind of watch it, and then I'll just click it, right? And then it literally goes, jump, and then it hits my TP, like pretty quick, right? To me, it's just safer in this environment because I do not like all-time highs, as I've said many times. So let's keep watching this, guys. We know we had a sweep up, sweep down, right? This structure brings just an insane amount of probabilities to my mind. So I am not going to enter any of my funded ones yet because I don't mind taking a risk on an eval, and it worked, but
I'm doing the same thing.
yeah, evals, hey, let's do it, whatever. But now that they're all three funded, I gotta kind of let this stew. To me, this structure is more of a deeper move structure south. It just ends up that way. But I have concerns because we have the 5 minute, right, where we are blow off top, push, back, push, create a higher high, but not much higher. But any kind of hold, you see these prior highs right here, any kind of hold above that or hold above this trend line, we run a risk of a just nasty push north. I think we're a little high in the range and a little overbought on some higher time frames, like that. I mean, we're due for some kind of pull, but if you think about this, that pull, when it decides to break, right, if it comes down into this area here, would just be a retest of that low, like 266, which I think will happen because it's going to be, whether it's today or tomorrow, I don't know, but because that would be the bait for all the people that want to just full board south, big contract holds, right? So for them to set up a bait trap, southern wouldn't surprise me, right? Now, when I look at this from here, right, again, we're still in a uptrend. We have to breach this to get to that low, right? But if we breach in here, which would be somewhere in these highs, right, kind of 728-ish or so, if we breach that, the target would be down there, right, which is about $150 move, $200 move. So, but that's a lot of if, right? If. We also could just tap here and then, just take off. So what we did in our pre-market in the mentor group is we were watching this channel and then been mostly short then through there, right? But we didn't take a ton, right? We were very patient within it, but I don't think anybody took a long, but I could be wrong. But I did not take any longs on that. Now I'm not, I'm just conflicted, guys. I don't like this because everything in the structure shows we're breaking down, and this could be a decent bearish day. But we haven't broken levels yet that could create a landmine. So from what I've talked about in all of the training kind of we've done, what would I look for if I'm indecisive? Kind of like what Neo said a few times, right? Like if I'm indecisive and I'm not really sure because there's too many conflicting signals, what would I revert to or look for mostly, you think?
Previous levels.
So think time frame. Which time frame do I want to spend most of my attention on?
Doing the micro
Doing the micro, right? Now, what am I looking for in the micro?
to see which patterns are playing out, like
Yeah.
bearish or bullish.
Which one's which one's playing out, right? So if I look at even this, to me, right, we're almost forming kind of a diamond again. You guys see that, sort of? But interesting enough, those normally are continuation and they're deep. But we have hammer, doji, a lot of dojis, right? Kind of doji, some absorption, and we're closing above it. That doesn't really scream bearish to me, right? Now it could be short term, but doesn't really scream, bearish. And so, interesting enough, this is what's funny about patterns. You could take this, so all you're looking for is kind of like the high, lower, low, right? You kind of get that form, but it's also a prerequisite to a possible rounded bottom, right? So now we're rounding our bottom. This is going to be very important to me to kind of help with bias or direction, because it's a bullish, micro pattern, right?
I love a good rounded bottom.
So this, if it plays out and we reclaim certain levels, right, which would be these lows, right, back here. So if we reclaim, 85 and 92, that's going to play out, right? And then that's going to push it to back up to here, right, which would be the high, because that's how that rounded bottom would play out. So if this rounded bottom ends up breaking down and we just get a deep sweep, right, and that tells you the bears are strong, right? It's going to tell you what's winning, right? Is it more that us hitting the POC in this macro area is going to push us hard north, or are the bears truly in, and we're going hard south? So we have to kind of see. So we got the push. Kind of our neckline is kind of in this area. We're getting a deeper pull than I'd want. Now the only thing I would say is maybe we could get a pull push and it's still kind of rounded. Could set up a cup and handle. I don't know, but again, I want to see just, is it doing bullish things or bearish things? So we're getting a hammer and we are getting little dom jumps north. See the dom jump again? We did get a 1 minute breach wick, but this is tricky because those usually breach wick and then pull back, right? But we are getting pretty progressive dom jumps. You guys see those? There's another one. So I took one on that one. Just again, guys, you got to trade your game, right? I'm going to guide you on what I see, what I think, where it's going, if it's bullish, bearish, all that, areas of potential entry, but I am not swinging big. Like you see right there is perfect. It literally, in the dom jumps, once I closed above the hammer, I took it quickly. It dom jumped up, took my TP, and then dropped. Right? You see why I'm kind of doing that? Because there's so much erratic moves that I'm okay with going back to micro scalping again. So we kind of have the rounded bottom here. Didn't really play out. Could pull back and create a little minute handle maybe. We'll see. We're still getting some interesting dom jumps that it's arguable where they're happening, whether they should happen, right? So let's keep watching. But the bears came in, and again, this is normal, right? Because we have a breach wick pullback. So again, we're still not really out of our conflicted zone. Could go either way, guys, right now. So still getting hammers. Let's see if I get a close above. Does that pulse it north? If I get a close above and it pulses it north, the bulls are still trying, right? They're still fighting. But if we get these hammers and then all of a sudden we get a sweep, right, then the bears are starting to try to kick in and take over. So I still see a little bullish pressure. See that jump again? They're very minute, but they're there. So this is a push halfway reclaim. We are breach wick. All right, we have a gap fill here, so it's leaning like it wants to push more. Wouldn't surprise me, just because if we get somewhere here, I guess we already kind of hit our halfway. Right, but we're coming off the POC. Prior high over here is 49, which we held. Doesn't really scream drop to the floor yet, right? So if you're wanting to be more short, like we talked about a little in the mentor group, and you're staying biased on one direction or the other, right? You just gotta let it kind of come up and then take the breakdown, right? Or if you're more long, you're like, hey, no, you know, I'm good. This is going to the moon, right? Then you're setting up now, right? Pretty much for these dom jumps. So I just looked over. I got one more on it just because, again, I'm scalping sort of, and so as we came through, got the hammer, the doji, got the breach close here, and then I took that and it did the one. So I'm micro scalping, guys. That's why a little different. If you want to learn how I'm doing this and deeply what I'm doing it, right now it's mostly the mentor group that's getting that secret sauce, but the development group will get it. They're getting a little. Most of them already kind of know, but if you come into there, right, you got the mentorship program. Getting pretty close to my 50, but they always are going to get a little extra sauce, right? But if you want to kind of know how I'm doing it as well, you can come into the development program because they'll learn on it here pretty soon. So I'm doing my funded one now, guys. I'm bursting my way through intraday, so you can see I'm not shy on it. I'm doing 2 NQ with it. I'm up 691 and I have no trail done loss. So I'm gonna wait for a second. Again, I'm capturing burst moves. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm just capturing burst moves. Now it's kind of dangerous because you guys know I'm not a big fan of trading in this area, right? Because we could push through this or we could hit this and just floor. So I'm gonna sit out for a little bit. Guys, and many of you know this because I say it every day, but it's just a tricky range up here, guys. You guys know my style was to teach you how to look for long range plays, right? You get the doji, close above, and we're targeting liquidity up here, mostly on the macro. And then I would do like a dual entry where my TP is there, but then I'm scalping another entry within, right? Banking on that macro playing out. I'm not doing that right now or anymore because it's just dangerous. It's so dangerous right now. Because we could literally just start to push, you get one of your rungs off, and then just floor, right? And if you don't have a stop loss in place, you're going to get trucked. So if you look at the indicators, guys, we are sell, 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 sell. So you probably shouldn't be taking longs. I'm only taking them just because I've seen some dom jumps and I was capitalizing on them. But you probably shouldn't be more long because we have all of these indicators are showing sell. We have the 5 minute still showing buy, but we're also deep down, right? Neo's also been pretty bearish, I think, since open. I'm curious to see, how did he do on the open call? Because he's been pretty spot on his open calls. So yeah, he was bearish. And then look, right at open bearish. I mean, he wasn't very confident. But I don't know. Have you guys noticed that? Those are the little things that stick out to my mind of every day. If he's bearish going into open, we tend to be more bearish. The market feels unpredictable at the moment. Current trends aren't matching up. I'm going to spend a little time. So when a lot of things start to misalign, Alex has it where he could kind of do that. Let me refresh him and see. Ooh, what happened there? Let me restart him real quick. Hold on. I don't know if that's a web thing or because of him. Because he's not supposed to be on right now, like I say. Let me look. Let me see if he needs a little restart here. Does anybody else have it like that? Or I don't know if I'm cached.
Stand by while I synchronize my neural circuits and initialize the deep
Or do
learning
you see
arrays.
it all like this
I'm
too?
currently booting primary data feeds and gathering liquidity map.
Let me do something real quick, guys. I don't know if that's me. Do you guys see it like that too? Anybody else? I'm gonna send it to Alex just to be like, well, I don't know if something got messed up on there or not. So let me send it to him. Okay. See the dom jump pressure north still. This is why I'm like, because again, we're sell, 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 sell. There's no buys. But the dom is still pushing kind of north, right? So it's not really screaming to me to go, hey, sell, right? We're breaching through some spots, but we are coming into this prior low. So these are huge. 797 right where we are is huge. If this pushes through this, right, it's going to be a pretty big explosion because from a macro level, right, it would be kind of a compression-ish. Sweep south, reclaim, and then up it goes, right? But if we begin to reject here pretty hard, right, it's going to drop pretty hard too. All of our algos are holding sales, so I'm gonna be interested on that. I'm gonna take Neo down until I see him give it a little better on there. So moment of truth, guys. We're testing these lows. A break through that is gonna be pretty good propulsion. Now anything below this teal line, right? We still run the risk of a retest drop, right? But we already kind of did the retest, and the fact these are all still throwing. When we got our first potential buy there. Other than that, most everything has been sell. So, as this comes back down, if I get a breach wick close below, we should pull there. We didn't quite get to our gap fill here, but now look at we're conflicted. We got a little gap fill, more room up here, but then we also have a gap fill now down here. Right. We are kind of channeling. You guys see that? On the one. So if you're one that likes structure, I would probably do it something like that. Keeps it pretty parallel. So we're still a little pressuring north on it, but we didn't quite hit that gap fill. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't push a little. But this is again where it gets tricky, right? Because now we're getting to a point where if we push a little more, we're breaking back into these lows, which then is really bullish, right? So this is a very critical level right here. Very critical. I suspect they would either sweep this and then pull it, or sweep this and then push it, but this sweep is going to be critical because if we sweep through, then it's just going to absolutely jump. Oh, this is a moment of truth, right? Because this would be the upper, gap fill cleared, we're below these highs.
8:15 was the 1 minute POC.
Yeah, that's why I'm
We
watching
got our
this.
200 around 824 too. It might bounce off of that.
Yeah, if it's gonna reject, it's gonna do it here pretty soon. If it doesn't, this matters here, right? If we get this breach wick close above, then we just go in, right? Because then now everything's kind of clear, at least to here, which is the 200. But remember, we're still kind of channeling right here, so any kind of micro breakdown here could pull a little bit. So let's watch. The DOM's still kind of jumping more north. So let's see how that reacts as it gets to the 200. We just breached back into those highs again, right? It doesn't really scream super short. Now, if we breach these highs and then we lose these lows again, right, that's going to come back to the gap fill pretty hard. But we're still getting, see that? We're getting the pressure down that should have just dropped us, and then they're trying to pressure it back north. Doesn't really show a lot of strength in the bears. Oh, let's see. So we're hitting our 200. If we breach that, guys, it's just, it was a good bear trap, and we're setting up for the push, right? Which is off of POC, so doesn't surprise me, but it also wouldn't surprise me if they don't try to trap something and sweep it real quick. So remember strength, right? Breach wick, we got the close above. That should push it to there. If we start to lose steam and we breach wick and close below, then it's going to dump pretty good. So let's see. So we got a hammer. We got the pull. If this goes hammer into a hammer, then it's going to push. But if it goes hammer into a breach wick here, then it's going to likely close and pull. Now we are coming off the 200 and we know we have a gap fill here, right? So pressure suggests it wants to try to break this, but it is the 200, right? It can shift quickly. We also have a trend line right there, right, that we're kind of tapping. See how we breached it and then now we're rearing back? Now this rear back matters, right? It didn't quite breach it, right? See how I tapped it? I would have liked to have seen that breach and then pull back and then close, but doesn't necessarily mean it can't still, but it's not as strong as I would like to be quite yet. So now we have the doji, right? Close above would be up, close below would be down. So it's a pretty good set. We're near the 200, you know, it's suggested should pull. It's not really respecting this channel whatsoever, so we're going to go ahead and remove that, and we'll just keep the low line, right, for our kind of breakdown potential. We are macro pushing, right? We have Lisma coming up at 34. This is the 5-minute Lisma. A lot of times that one likes to breach wick as well, right, and pull. So be careful chasing too much, right? But we do have a lot of OA within there if we can breach it. And we did reclaim some critical lows, right, that we lost. So there's the push. Remember we do that breach wick and rear back. We got a breach wick kind of there, but we didn't really get a rear back, so I'm curious to see if we do or we just go. I know there's a gap fill here still, but we reclaimed some pretty good lows, right, which tends to want to push it more than pull it.
Just kind of retesting that hour line.
Yeah.
It's just pushing straight through it too.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we see any weakness. Remember, this is that 1 hour line. We breached it. Yeah, if we reclaim up in here, guys, it's gonna go. But there's a good chance that this is gonna try to pull it back. So don't chase it too much, guys. Still a lot of pressure, right? I want to see a breach wick. I need some strength in the bears here. Every time it pulls, though, you see that jump? I don't know. Yeah, so if you're short here, breach wick close below there. We're getting some DOM drops a little. You see that? Did you notice that? Kind of like pushed a little and then drop. So bears might try to come in. Little bull. That was a bull jump. This is a battle right here. This is a battle. And then we had another bear drop. So we got our breach wick. Let's see if we get the close below.
Just so much going on in this area.
Oh, it's insane, dude. Yeah, it's insane. So we got a little rear back, right? We didn't quite get the close. Breach wick and this rear and back. Could, I don't know. I was kind of thinking bull flag here, right? Oh, this is tricky, guys. I hate these ranges. But you got these highs here. See how we pushed it and we're tapping that high. That's not quite bearish yet, right? But we're getting as many bear drops as we're getting bull pumps. So, very tricky range, guys. This is a very tricky range. So, this 200 is going to be big because we break this high here, that'll push us into the 200, and we know there's a gap fill here plus a trend line, right? We're just oscillatory right now, so it should pull back more, but this is prior day high too, right? So if we tap on this and we hold, it's going to spring, but if we lose that, then it's going to drop.
It's a breakout retest of that 5-minute downtrend line as well.
Yeah.
It's just like everything's right here. The Asia high was right there.
Mm-hmm.
You just have August 200 retest.
So yeah, we breached the 200, close below there, right? Is a pretty good play south because it would also be a breach back into the prior day. But you can see as long as we stay above like 22, 23, like here, right, we're macro trend break north too. So this this is a tougher age, man. Yeah, see, we're starting to collapse the high. Now, this collapsing prior day high and this high here should pull to there with a breach wick. If it doesn't, bulls are stronger than the bears, right? Because it should do that. So we also have a doji 828 on the 1. If we can close below it, it's dropping. It doesn't look like it's... Oh, it did. Yeah, it barely did. So let's see if we get any kind of propulsion from that doji setup. We're also kind of channeling, you see this push, kind of parallel. That's more bull flag than bear, so. Tricky area, because see, we're starting to get some bullish things, but on a prior daily high, on a 200, above a 5-minute, all that screams that it should jump. But the 1 minute having the gap fill plus the trend line down here kind of says we should pull, right? The fact that we pushed into our trend line here as well and then rejected doesn't really scream bull. So we have a lot of things that say we should go up and arguably almost as many things that say we should go down.
I normally would have taken a short based off of that close below the doji, but dude, with that 200 and the 9 crossing like that, it just didn't feel right. Glad I didn't take it.
Yeah, it is definitely a tricky spot, guys. Definitely a tricky spot. See the bull flag playing out. Now this is gonna be big because this played out, but I want to see, does it create the high, right, that it should up to there. That would make sense for that, but then it would not make sense for the retest rejection there, right? But it would make sense for that, right? So You see what I mean by it's a tricky spot, guys. For sure. This matters, guys, because now we got a doji. Close above will give the propulsion that needs to go. Close below will mean it's breaking down, and the bull flag didn't quite give as much strength as we thought it would. Now this supports north, and this supports north. In all fairness, we still haven't got a close above there, which is 41. The only thing that really supports possible south would be the 1 minute trend line that's hitting the 1 hour trend line that we broke. Right, so very tricky range, guys, very tricky range. We got the push. We're actually reclaiming into this, so next level would be 64. This doesn't surprise me a little, just because, like I said, guys, the world is trying to short the crap out of this market, and the bots and hedge funds are just having their field day with them and pushing. So, I promise there's a lot of people yelling at their monitor right now, going, "Why are we pushing?"
Yeah, that used to be me. I think 27,000 is a nice round number.
We get to 27, I think so those are tricky, right? Sort of, because when you get to 27, you're either going to really blow off top, or you're going to reject like a mother.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely could be. So the bull flag playing out doesn't surprise us, right? Because we are macro supported. The only thing I was worried about was there, right? And we just kind of blew through that. But we do have a gap fill down here, guys. So don't chase these longs too far, because we do have a lot of resistance around 72. We got a lot of resistance around 82. We got a lot of resistance on the 15-minute Lisma. We'd have to breach through those, right, before you'd want to really take any more longs. Let's see if this 15-minute Lisma breaks us down. If this don't break us down, guys, it's just going to be bullish as hell today. I would prefer a oscillatory day, to be honest with you, but I don't really want to be that bullish. Because being top and bottom trader, right, the oscillations is where I'm going to make my money. See how we're collapsing down from the 15? Now let's see if we get full collapse, because it should, right, based on that. Where does it find support? See where it's at right here. If this holds support, it's going to just freaking spring. But if we lose that, right, it should have a little steam with it. Just need to see what this thing is doing here. So now this pull is just a push, halfway liquidity, and we're holding these highs. You know, should have pulled us to there, right? If it wants to flip. Very bearish, and it didn't.
Retested that 1 hour trend line perfectly and back up.
Yeah. Yes, it did. Now let's see if it breaches and goes, or if it pulls. If not, we're gonna, like I said, guys, it's just gonna be another one-directional thought. But I just don't see them staying one-directional. But it's not that it's impossible. They're still shaking a lot of longs out, a lot of shorts out, you know, so they need those sweeps both ways. But this thing reclaimed some pretty critical things it needed to reclaim pretty easily. See how the old market maker thought, right? If you close here, that's going to set up bulls and then sweep them. Could be what they're trying to set up here. We do have a call out of confluence in here, plus the 382 at 884, right? So for us to reject in there even a little would, again, it would make sense to where if we don't, we're going to be really bullish today, because it should. So let's see. Waiting to see if we get the close below the doji. If we do, should have steam. If we don't, we ain't done, because it's literally broke and lost a level that should just pull us back pretty heavily. See that? I would not be surprised if they don't try to sweep them quickly. Very, very big level. Remember, we still have a gap fill here, and those things are super good. Super, super good. So, I'm just looking to see as we begin to break down here. So, forming a little bit of a possible head and shoulder here. Still testing those highs there. Now we created a higher high, but we lost it, retested it, and rejected. We need that to create a lower low to show some kind of strength. We're still above the trend line, right? That's critical. We stayed below it here, now we're holding above it there. If we lose that, that's going to be pretty fast. But if we stay here and keep tapping, right, that's going to jump. 5 minutes still flat bottom, you know? So the flat bottom break would be like 8:30. Alright, so we got a little ways before that would even break. Plus we're getting a bearish pattern, so let's see if that bearish pattern breaks down or not. We got a little bit of divergence, right, to support it. So it should, which is what patterns do, right? So, but if this invalidates, guys, I would either stay out or don't short, right? You can go long with it, but again, up here, man, anything can happen. We can explode or we can dump. Not much. I mean, think about it, guys. This was our all-time high area right in here. There's no telling where it's going to do. This is where they trap like crazy, so let's see. There's the shoulder. Let's see if this just invalidates or does it create an actual shoulder. Don't like this zone.
To the moon.
Well, yeah, it'll wreck all these people that keep wanting to short, right? That's for sure. I just think that it's already beat up enough of the short plays that I feel like they need to set up some long traps soon, right? Because now people eventually will get beat up enough that they go, to hell with it, I'm just going long. And that's usually when you get that shift to the short, right? So I need a breakdown here though, or this is invalidating, because then it's a double tap off of support, and that's pretty strong. Dom's not really telling me either way. So much pressure, guys. Isn't this crazy? What was the, let's move this to there so I can just kind of gauge where we are from,
Yeah, 902.
yeah.
Here we go.
So much pressure. See, this is what I was saying on those shorts, like it's just so much pressure. But again, we have this gap fill here, guys. We will come back to that gap fill. So just be really, really careful. So we have another push into a hammer. It's going to try to hold support. If this loses support, that might be the sweep I've been watching for. So I was saying, be careful chasing your longs. See the sweep? That was the sweep I was waiting on. It's where they do that kind of push and then they sweep it, right? Now, this is going to be interesting, again, to show strength, because technically, right, we have kind of our macro trend like that, and if we were to Gan fan it, right, it would be something like that. So I want to see, does it respect this and come to here, and if it does, it'll breach that, and that might have some pretty good steam, right? Like I said, guys, I think today, and part of what I told the mentor group is, if I'm being honest, guys, I think today's a day where you could be long or short. You just got to be really patient for your setup. I don't think, and do more micro scalps, right? Don't do long range plays.
Come up with a strategy where I can do both.
If it was that easy, right? And that's such an important lesson that I teach all of you, right? Is that you have to trade in a way that the market conditions fit, right? We can't, we can't force things, because if we try to force stuff, using the same strategy, same conditions all the time, right? You're gonna eventually get caught.
Well, you were definitely right about that bull trap.
Yeah, that played out pretty good. Now, how deep it's gonna go, we'll see, right? Think here, right? We have a push, kind of an ugly looking double top, right? So if we lose this high and we lose this low, we're going to the gap fill. Think about it, on a micro or macro level, it's a trend line break into a retest, which will put it back about 810. So even if you're getting short scalps through here, once you get your confirmations, you want to be really careful. You want to be really careful because it can bounce somewhere around that 810 level, right? But I'm kind of thinking, again, like I said, guys, I think, this is just my opinion, I do not have a crystal ball, but we have this top, we have this low, but now we have a lower high. For us to come back down to this low makes just sense. So I would not be trying to long these bottoms until you get into these areas. For us to do a wide ass oscillatory swing day today makes sense, right? So, this is going to be a critical pull, right? To pull to the trend line, like I said, I was kind of expecting that to be a little bit of a bull trap with a deep sweep. Played out. A lot of it is because, see, our fib level thing is so good on this. Whenever I backtested this one, when it hits like a 382 or 618 in a red confluence zone, that's usually pretty bearish, and it pulls it most times pretty much down to that green confluence zone, right? We have a 1 minute trap. I didn't even see that. South, right? So you want to be careful on your longs now on that. Again, short or long is fine. I think you just need to really wait. So if I'm taking long, right, I want to see a push and a reclaim of these lows, and then I have some decent OA for like a quick scalp, right? If I'm taking a short, you kind of want maybe a pull, like you want to see these lows hold right here, and then a pull back, and then breach, and then here's kind of your OA, right? Depending how you want to play it. So let's see if we get a deep push, or again, it's now in a critical area again because we are double top, below neckline, tapping. That thing could just dump. But we're macro trend line break north, where it could just bump. Right, so it's a tricky area, guys. To me, you guys know I've been more biased long for a bit, but I think that it's been bullish a little too much, and so I think that it's going to set up enough bullish plays to bait people in, and I think it's gonna. We got Neo back on that. I think Alex reset something. He's Neo again is not supposed to be on, but I kind of force him on for you guys. But he's been doing really a lot of work on this indicator portion that we're trying to add.
So speaking of being overbought, I tried a new free stochastic indicator, like
Yeah.
to show overbought, oversold, and scrolled back as far back as MNQ1 will go, and we've never been as overbought on the indicator as we are right now.
Oh yeah, we're so overbought it's not even funny. Guys, so the shorts are kind of mostly playing out here. You guys see now we're a down, up, down. That should have enough to breach wick that. If it does, we get a close, then we're getting full sweep. We did breach wick Lisma, so a little rear back is normal, but that kind of supports our theory of going to the gap fill. Only concern, or big concern, is our breakout retest of the 5 minute trend line, right? If it breaks back into that, it's going to dump really hard. We're going probably all the way back to here. But if it holds here, the bounce could be pretty solid. So let's just watch now. So we're back into that daily prior high. We got to close into it on the micro, so not anything else, right? But it makes you wonder, why would we even try to push really high, right? If it's going to be dropped. Now micro, you can see kind of shoulder, head, shoulder, kind of testing the neckline. So any kind of deep sweep here is going to support that. Any kind of deep push is going to be an invalidation of a bearish pattern, which you guys know. Now we also on the 1 minute notice we have a shoulder, head, possible shoulder. So for us to come up a little to create a little shoulder here, even all the way up to here, right, is possible. And that would be, if this head and shoulder plays out, right, that would be the body that would pull us to that gap fill. So we're testing on the 5 minute Lisma now. Again, macro suggests we're push, retest, should push again, right? 1 minute's suggesting bearish pattern forming that should pull us to gap fill. 15-second, right, had bullish stuff play out, the rounded bottom, member, and the bull flag into a bearish structure, right? So now we're trying to see, is the bearish structure gonna play out, or is it just a trap, right? We'll have to see. We're getting dojis here, but that's fine. It's in an area of 5 minute Lisma and 1 minute Lisma. It's squeezed, right? He seems to be holding pretty bearish. He went slightly bullish there, but he flipped back. Oh, see, even he's a little confused on it. Let's see, 10:05. Actually, 10:05 right here. He called bullish, and then he called bullish at 10:10, and both of those played out, so that's good. And then 15 is where he called bearish, which is right there, which played out, so that's pretty good. Then he called bullish at 10:20, bullish pressure, anyways. And then that one kind of pulled back, but it was low confidence. I have to look at his concerns too. And then now he flipped to a little higher confident south. Let's see. Reason, axis resistance, current price level, anchored, trending. Yeah. I'm gonna.
Hello, I'm Neo.
Let's
Let's
turn on his
capture
voice.
the move.
Let's see what he has to say here. Explain yourself, buddy. So many conflicting signals, guys. This is bullish. This is bearish. This is trying to form a micro bullish. The trap says we're bearish. Which the traps are usually pretty good. Crazy zone, guys. Crazy zone. Yeah, this is not, if you're out there with like holding on to your one funded account or your one eval, this is not the one. So we have a decent bullish pattern forming, but we did get a absorption back south. If how deep that goes tells us the tell. If we go here, it's dropping. Right, because now we've invalidated a micro bullish pattern. Again, that gap fill is what mostly looks appealing to me for my plays. But just depends if we can get through that 200 or not. Yeah, I mean, again, guys, you don't want to trade fearful. You just got to adjust your strategy, right? You know, I'm doing more micro scalps on it. If you're one that's like, can't break this one, money's tight, right? You probably don't want to trade much on this. But if, if breaking an eval doesn't make you emotional, it's not a bad thing to, take some chances right on this, because the movement's pretty decent. I think again, guys, I think we're gonna just continue to oscillate up here for a bit, because too many people are gonna begin to be bullish and too many people are still believing this is going to the floor and they're gonna be bearish. And I think from the grand spectrum of things, people are thinking that the move down is gonna be bigger, because, which they're not wrong, but the timing, right, is what's tricky on it. So we begin to collapse this, right, but now we're, this could still arguably be that shoulder, so that should push it to here.
The 5 minutes time frame shows bullish momentum. However,
says.
the 1 minute time frame is currently navigating a conflicting zone near the 1 minute anchored VWAP at 26,838.09, indicating a potential for consolidation or whipsaws. Price action on the 1 minute shows a lack of clear expansion beyond recent highs, which weakens the bullish argument. The 15 seconds LSMA slope of minus 0.24916 suggests minor selling pressure on the shortest time frame, further complicating the immediate direction. The 1 hour structure shows price is above the bullish support trend line starting at 24,069, but interaction with the resistance trend line at 24,419 is still a considerable distance away. Sentiment: bullish pressure. Confidence: 5 out of 10. Reason: the 5 minutes and 1 minute LSMA and EMA trends are bullish, and price is above the 1 minute EMA 200 at 26,830.67 and the 5 minutes EMA 200 at 26,814.83. The 1 hour structure remains above a key bullish support trend line. Concerns: the 1 minute time frame is trading within a conflicting zone around the 1 minute anchored VWAP 26,838.09. The 15 seconds LSMA slope is negative, and the 1 minute Heikin Ashi breaking high is noted as inside range. suggesting a lack of immediate upside conviction. Summary. The market shows some signs of upward movement, with short-term trends favoring buyers. However, price is currently in a range where it could go either way, making it uncertain for new trades. It's best to wait for clearer direction before entering.
Shit, it's complicated today.
Oh, it's you're fine long or short as long as you're patient, watching the momentum and quick scalping. But any kind of long range plays, man, I got no special read for you guys. We have just as much risk of jumping as we do flooring right now. So most of what I've been doing is just mostly micro scalping stuff, guys, because it's a dangerous spot. Let me text Alex something real quick. I'm having Alex look at something because like I said, we force fed him some 1 hour lines, and then earlier he was like, I see a 1 hour line. I'm like, that's not one I gave you. I was like, is he picking up on these 1 hour lines already? So I want Alex to look at the back end. When the format got broken there, guys, when it went all like black like that, Alex texts me, and he goes, reloaded, I fixed it. He goes, it's so strange. On one of his responses, he decided to add an extra close tag, so it broke the entire layout. And so I typed back, I said, what an asshole. Freaking Neo. So,
Awesome.
for anybody that's arguing, he's not self-analyzing or trying to change his code. He just broke his own shit. So he's looking at it. But yeah, he called that line, that 1 hour line, that I was like, man, that was crazy. Because that's the thing is, right, we're force feeding them some things to expedite the learning process, but I don't want to force feed him too many things, right? Because I want to make sure he's making decisions. So, guys, this head and shoulders in play still. Here's the neckline. Close below here, right, is going to bring a pretty decent sweep, right? Because see, every time we met this area, we have pretty big moves. Yeah. I mean, it's just AI, right? That's what their code is they're taught to make changes to the code. This is a really interesting range, guys, because see how we're getting these absorptions in here? But we have a lot of wicks at the top, too. So, very tricky range. Again, I feel, could be wrong, right? But I think they're going to set up both, like, some bear traps, some bull traps. They're going to make it look really bullish and then sweep it and just, but it, you know, we have a hammer on the one. We got to stick to the technicals. Close above there should push us to here, right? If we collapse that.
The 5 minutes time frame shows bullish momentum with price above the 200 EMA, while the 1 minute time frame exhibits a bullish LSMA and EMA trend, though a doji formation in an inside range. Break of the Heiken Ashi high suggests indecision. The 15 seconds LSMA is currently below the current price, and its slope indicates slight downward momentum, creating a micro-level conflict. The 1 hour structure shows price is currently below several resistance levels, indicating a challenging ascent, and is interacting with a bullish support trendline. Sentiment: bullish pressure, confidence, 6 out of 10. Reason: the 5 minutes and 1 minute time frames predominantly display bullish characteristics with price above key moving averages. The 1 hour shows price interacting with bullish support trendlines, suggesting potential for upside. Concerns: the 1 hour horizontal resistance levels are overhead, and the 1 minute doji and inside range Heiken Ashi break indicate a lack of conviction. The 15 seconds LSMA is showing downward pressure, creating a micro-level conflict with the higher time frames. Summary: the market is leaning towards an upward move, as seen in the medium term trends. However, there are some overhead hurdles and a lack of strong momentum in the very short term. This means price might move up, but it could face resistance and hesitation.
Yeah. And if you look here, guys, this is our 1 hour trend line I'm really watching. This is the trend line that we told him about to learn trend lines, and so I think that's what he's referring to. He called it a horizontal one, so I might need to flag that one. I think I heard him say that right. The horizontal. No, let's see the 1 hour structure. 1 hour induction bullish support trend lines suggesting. Well, maybe he didn't. He just called it a structure. Yeah, see how the 1 hour structure shows price is currently below several resistance levels, it's reading that, which is really cool, right? And so although remember guys, the confidence that he gives is based on the pressure that he sees. And so he's seeing the pressure, right? But what he's seeing with his concerns is that we gotta break above these levels or we run that risk of falling, right? Which is kind of what I keep preaching. I would, you know, for me, when I have this double top and we're failing to get through this neckline like this, more inclined to look for plays to this gap fill, but a little worrisome of the fact that we broke that, right, that trend.
It's kind of bear flagging though, right?
Yeah. See, and there's a lot of resistance in here, 55. So we breach 55, this would be your kind of spot, right? Breach of that, it's gonna just go. This is a tricky area, guys. Definitely a tricky area. A big move's coming on it, but if it was gonna be a just straight bearish, right? Why didn't it break like here, or you know, within the pattern that should be, right? But if it's going to be bullish, we got to close above a hammer. Why didn't that at least breach wick? So there's a lot of my suspicion of this being I think a way to trap both directions is kind of playing out so far.
I'm about to take my money and run.
Yeah, if you got your 150 cut, especially you for your payout stuff, for sure.
Yeah, I got 400, but yeah. Take it green and get on out.
Mm-hmm.
Done some on an eval, but
See, in a normal instance, I would see these hammers, and you know me, I'd be like, we jumping. I don't like that we're below this critical pattern, this critical trend line. This is a 1 hour. This is a 5 minute. 1 hour could trump it, right? For sure. So it's what makes it really tricky. Kind of looking at
The market is currently experiencing significant
see
structural
the
friction, with price trapped between the 1 minute anchored VWAP at 26,838.52 and the 1 minute EM 8200 at 831.53, the 5 minutes LSMA 26,839.6 and 1 minute LSMA 26842.31 both indicate bearish pressure, while price is oscillating around the 15 seconds. EMA, reflecting indecision
pretty
within a
big
tight range.
absorption.
This environment acts like rowing a boat through thick mud, where conflicting
He
short
said through thick
term
mud.
momentum and a lack of
I
clear
haven't heard
structural
that one, have you
expansion
guys?
make any immediate entry premature and prone to whipsaws. Sentiment.
I've never heard
Bearish
any.
pressure.
You get that
Neo
one.
is a
2
sailor.
out of 10.
I mean,
Reason.
Bro.
Price is trading below the 1 minute anchored VWAP and the
He's
5
beating
minutes
me in
LSMA,
analogies for
indicating
sure, 'cause
overhead
I-
resistance and a lack of bullish follow.
I have no
During the most
intention of
recent
rowing a
price
boat through
swings,
thick mud.
concerns. The market is in a highly conflicting zone, with price squeezed. between multiple moving averages and lacking the clear structural break required for a high probability trade. Summary.
Oh, some
The market is currently moving sideways
Careful,
without a
y'all,
clear
something
direction,
just happened.
much like a ball bouncing back and forth in a small, confined space,
Probably declared
because
victory again.
there is no strong trend. It is best to wait patiently for a clear move in one direction before considering any action. 4. Now, the safest choice is to stay on the sidelines and observe how the price behaves when
Pretty
it
good
finally
push
leaves
with a
this
pretty
crowded
good
area.
absorption. So, see that perfect line in the trend line? That's usually a more down than up, but
Straight to the top of VWAP and Asia high.
It's just, but look at where it bounced, man. It rejected hard right where it should, but then it bounced, pretty hard on the low as well. So again, it just continues to validate the trickiness of this messy range, guys.
Yeah, man. It's like in the last 25 minutes, they've tapped or breached the 200 13 times, but they haven't been able to move it away from the 200 to the south.
Yeah, that's insane. To me, again, it looks more bearish, like it wants to go more gap fill, but we keep getting these crazy ass springs, right? That I don't know where the trap is. I would think the trap in these situations would be more bull trap to drop, but we've been setting nothing but bear traps, right? So far yesterday and today, so could be, that this is setting up a bear trap, but I don't. If it was gonna bear trap it, right, I feel like they would have closed it here, then sprung it, right? It's finding support here, which is on the prior highs, which is kind of normal. It's not really a bear trap, right? That's just, it's bouncing on prior highs. And so if we breach those, right, then that's going to be our sweep, which would make more sense to me, especially with a sweep like this, right? So we're sweep absorption to the south, but we went right into a hammer, right? But then we closed above it and then lost steam instead of gaining steam. So, but then we're also holding higher low. So you see what I mean by, I called it a little bit ago that this is a tricky range because there's just so many variables. But
yeah, it's been a while since they did one of those candles where it's like $50 up, $50 down, all in 30 seconds, just to wreck all the options and reset the ledger.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one of those in a while. Maybe I just haven't been trading.
Like I said, I to me I get a sense that they're leaning more towards, let me give the bulls hope and then balance back, right?
We get to close below VWAP, then it's like, all right, then I'm convinced they're going south. That's just me. I got to get ready for a meeting and hit the road anyway, so I probably should just walk away.
Yeah. Right there's that what I was looking at too, because not only the view up on there, but the for what I'm watching, but the prior high, right? That
Yeah, the previous day high for sure.
Well, remember I told you guys, if you zoom back, this range right here is notorious for quick moves. So if we break back into this range, it's likely going to be a quick move anyways. But to me, both are trying, but I think the bears.
The
are
5 minute
slightly
structure
leaning.
shows bearish pressure, with price below the 5 minutes LSMA and 5 minutes EMA 200. The 1 minute time frame is also
Our
bearish,
pull.
indicated by price below the 1 minute LSMA and 1 minute EMA 200, and a bearish Heiken Ashi candle on. The 15 seconds, price is below the 15 seconds LSMA and EMA, with a slight downward slope on the LSMA, reinforcing the bearish sentiment across the lower time frames. This is a low probability setup for any directional move due to the prevailing bearish pressure on multiple time frames. Sentiment, bearish pressure. Confidence, 3 out of 10. Reason, all analyzed time frames, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 1. Fives exhibit bearish price action, with price consistently trading below key moving averages, LSMA and EMA 200. The 1 minute Heiken Ashi candle is red, confirming the bearish momentum. Concerns, the current price is trading within a range, indicating potential consolidation rather than a clear directional trend. The 1 minute LSMA slope is positive, which could suggest a potential shift, but it's not strong enough to override the broader bearish structure. The 1 H structure is currently undefined without seeing how price interacts with the
Guys,
provided support.
careful. This is, again, it's doing what I was thinking. Like, remember I've been saying this whole time, I think this is going to overpower and we're coming down. And so I'm happy with that. But I just still have a little concern, right, that we could tap this and jump. So just be careful chasing it too much, right? But see how we're getting the deep slide? That's playing out as we thought, right? Now, if this full board collapses, then we're just dropping. But I don't know if you guys, anybody take the short there?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it,
Okay.
making up some of my money.
I got a short too.
Nice.
I decided to trade a funded and got 250 upside down. Now I'm only negative 31. So I need to make about another $150 and I'll be happy.
Nice. Be careful trying to time this bottom for long, guys. Everything is showing that this should break down to at least there. So this level here is going to be pretty critical, 84. Because we could hit that and then jump, but I would suspect that it won't. But again, you know, I run into this trend line. I'd love to see this thing invalidate, because then it's just we going down. Right? There's no question about it. So, but anything short of that, right, we definitely run a risk of jumping. But I would be really cautious with you guys trying to time this bottom. So I don't think we're done sweeping. I think we got to sweep to about here.
I got out. I'm trying to wait to see if it's going to retest the 9 before I get back in, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
So, but be careful if you've been riding these. I took a few scalps south on it, but be careful. Guys, we got 10:48. Just noticed, man, that time went by fast. I mean, we were waiting for a lot of trades. Tricky day. So I did what I would consider as well. Did not do well on some, but those were the ones I was trying to really swing big. I want to show y'all what I refer to as trader math, right? And I want to ask you guys what you think. Let me know, because this is where I want to share this with you, because one, you don't want to ever trade fearful, right? You always want to just take some risks, right, at times. But you want to manage your risk within a good risk management. And I was talking to the mentor group today. I was like, risk management is changing. It's not the same as what it used to be. There's various ways of risk management, right? And so for me, I see risk management as, if I get a big payout, right, then I don't mind risking to swing a little bit on an account or two. And if I break it because I took a pretty wild high volume risk, then I break it, you know? Hold on. Interesting. One second, guys. That's funny. I'm gonna stop there until I get this. But what I was referring to, which is kind of ironic, the time I just got an email I'm gonna share with you, is so the intraday ones that I was telling you I was swinging with, like 2, 3 NQ, ended up getting caught, but I'm up almost $3,000 on the one that will pay me, right? So, am I too upset with that? Not really, right? With that said, I just got an email. So, my funded, I just requested another payout. They said we're currently processing your payout request, but part of our mandatory regulations and compliance protocols, we require you to complete a verification call with our risk management team before we can proceed with the disbursement. Please confirm your availability for a compliance call. Available slot is tomorrow at 2 p.m.
It's like when Apex was doing, show us a video.
Well, they might think it's somebody said something about how I'm executing them so quickly, right? If they think it's a bot or someone else doing it, because I'm getting pretty good amount. I mean, I've had $25,000 to $3,000 payouts, right? A couple in a row. So I'm sure they're like, we want to make sure it's you, but I've not ever had my fund to do this. So interesting. Very interesting, guys. I'll let you know how that goes. So, I guess there's no point in me trading anymore on this one until I know that they're actually gonna pay me.
You're just getting too good too quick for them, and they're taking notice, man.
No, it just. Guys, remember, think about it this way. I don't get upset with this stuff, even though it's crazy, but prop firms are casinos, right? And at the end of the day, if I'm at a casino and I'm winning and winning and winning and winning, right? They're gonna come up and go, hey, let me take you to the office, shake you up. No, they're gonna be really watching you, right? They're gonna ask questions like, hey, we need an extra ID, or we need this. Like, they're just those type of industries are built off of you failing, right? So when you don't fail, right, or you do really well, they're going to try to figure out a way to not pay it or to just make sure it's you, right? But
You're
yeah.
counting cards, aren't you, Nick? You're counting cards.
Well, and it's the double-edged sword of things, right, with prop firms, because on one end, right, you're doing it to try to be overly successful, but then on the other end, they need you to not be overly successful, so...
Nicodemus is not fair to the prop firm.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they jumped on my TikTok and they saw it, Neo, and they're like, "This dude's trading with AI."
Well, it's like they say they want to develop good traders, right? So that they can use good traders to copy trade. And then when you become a good trader, they're like, "Oh no, you're too good. We're not gonna, whatever." I don't know. I've never had that problem, so I don't know.
But yeah.
They want good traders to be on live accounts, not prop accounts, right?
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe I'll get a call with them, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not. Like, we'll pay this, but you're going to a live account." I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I'll let you know. That's going to be a very interesting situation for me. So, because, like I said, I don't know if they're going to try to find something I'm doing with that, right? Maybe they're going to ask the strategy. Maybe they're going to ask what I'm doing. And I don't mind because I'm not cheating the system. There's nothing in my funded that says I can't use an ATM, and there's nothing that says I can't, like, I have to take so much profit that I know of, right? Yeah, so we'll see. I'll let you guys know how it goes, but yeah, so I'm not going to trade that one much more, but I did 26.67 on that one, so
You're just rocking the boat. That's only the beginning for rocking the boat with Neil.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that'd be like 2,400 to withdraw, so I don't need to do any more anyways today. So I don't want to trade it anymore since I gotta get on and do that risk call apparently. Let me look and see something. I mean, my average trade time actually is 3 minutes because some of them get out quick, but not all of them. You know, and so they can't really get me for an average trade time. So I don't know, unless they're who knows. But hopefully they don't play games because I really like my funded.
They probably have some triggers that if you make so much money over such a period of time that it flags you.
Uh, yeah. Yeah. I just saw what you put on there, Steven. I'm like, what? Oh, but yeah, no, yeah. When you're losing, man, they will happily take that credit card every time. But once you start winning, it's like, eh. But the thing is, guys, and this is that gray area, right? That's probably why they want to get on a call with it. But you know, if they don't want you to, there's a million ways to trade, and if a prop firm does not want you to trade a certain way, they got to outline that in the rules, right? If I'm trading within their rules, there's nothing they can do, right? They have to pay it. Now they can pay it and say, hey, you know, there's nothing that says they have to service me as a customer. They may pay it and be like, oh, we're going to pay it because you earned it, but we're going to still ban you because we don't want you in. Right? Who knows? So I guess we'll find out. But I'll let you guys know. Apparently that's going to be tomorrow. Yeah, Neo's been crushing it so far. I mean, even in a very difficult, confusing market, look at this. All the bearish. He had this bullish one, which was at 35. It's right there. Right, and we still went up like $12, nothing crazy, right? So, not mad about it, but he flipped to this, went a little more confident, you know, about equal confident. Oh, he's shutting it down. He's like, he always does this at 11. I don't know if Alex put that in there to remind me it's 11. But yeah, that just threw a little interesting twist into my day. So I guess we'll see how that one pans out. But quickly, guys, because it is 10:58, I do want to stop the open one. If you're on TikTok and you want to come in, you're intrigued at all, nextstepalgo.com. If you want to watch Neo at all, this is Neo, our AI analyst. I've had him muted most of the time, but he does read this. And I find it interesting too, guys. Like sometimes he does like crazy longer ones, and then sometimes he does shorter ones, which is funny. But when you register, all you do is you go down here, Neo AI session. You're in there, and you can watch him. So he's normally live at 1 p.m. But I've been kind of forcing him on as we're working through with it. But you guys can register for free and watch him for free if you guys want to. So, yeah. And if you guys want to join,
I'm on this short for MNQ, and it just keeps going.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, my bias was more bearish from here.
Stop me out, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say you're coming into some support.
Oh yeah, we are. If you guys want to join the development program to trade the afternoon sessions, you can do that. So you just go to the development program. My last little thing, guys, again, I'm going to reach out to them today once I'm done with the development session again. I have about 6, I think I said. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 people still to reach out to. You know, some I've talked to and they're just waiting on some things, and some I've sent a message and they haven't responded back. So if you've pushed to request a call with me about the mentor group and you haven't heard from me, then you might want to check your spam because it might be in there, because I did reach out to everybody that has done it. But once this gets to 50, guys, I'm shutting down on it. I'm not doing it anymore. So, not doing anymore. Yeah, so let's go back to Neo, guys. Guys, let's jump over to the development session and we will do the questions over there.